to the Barely News Crew. I'm your host here as always, Alexis, and today we bring you another movie review with the much anticipated and highly divisive at this point. This is Batman v Superman, also known as Dawn of Justice, quite literally. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is directed by Zack Snyder, who of course gave us Man of Steel, and stars Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, Jesse Eisenberg as Jesse Eisenberg, Amy Adams as Lois Lane, and of course introducing Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Let's set the record straight right here. I am not a particular fan of DC movies because so far their track record, and not including the Batman trilogy under, of course, Christopher Nolan, they haven't been that many and they haven't been that impressive. I am not a particularly comic book inclined person. I know there's a Marvel poster behind me, but I am a fan of the Marvel franchise, more inclined with the movies and the shows, obviously. So I'm a big fan of that, so full disclosure. So I will do my absolute best to make sure that this is a fair review of this movie, as I do with every single last one of them, because I owe it to you that much. So Batman v Superman is supposed to tell us a story 2 years following Man of Steel. We are introduced to Bruce Wayne, who is clearly pissed at Superman for destroying Metropolis and, of course, one of his own buildings, which killed a lot of his employees, one of whom he cared for very deeply. And he just doesn't approve of the fact that he just seems to do whatever he wants, and he feels the need to bring him in or take him out of the game completely. And at the same time, Superman is, quote-unquote, struggling with, should he be Superman, or is this what I want in life? And he all the while you have Jesse Eisenberg. Half the things he was saying were completely insane, so it was kind of hard to follow exactly what he wanted. I'm assuming he wanted to kill Superman, even though that was never really revealed why he wanted to do so. So there's the plot, okay? Here is what's really good about this movie. Bruce Wayne, great Batman, great costume, great fighting sequences, everything about Batman. Jeremy Irons as Alfred was a complete revelation. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, was a breath of fresh air, as many people on this channel have said, because every scene she's in, she brings something completely different than everything else this movie is giving you, and she's just really fun to watch on screen, especially when she kicks ass. The cinematography looks absolutely impeccable. The music is top-notch. But unfortunately, it really starts to fall apart after that. There were just too many problems that made no coherent sense. First and foremost, the pacing is just bad in this movie. It just is. It takes way too long for setup scenes, because it really just becomes a series of setup scenes after setup scenes. And they could be setup scenes for the internal struggle between Batman and Superman, or it could be setup scenes to the bigger DC universe. The dream sequences, which were, of course, mixed in with these random sequences of just setup scenes, only muddy the waters even further, because there were dream sequences when, while overall they were cool to look at, they just left the audience completely confused and had no idea what the hell was going on. It's that middle section where the movie starts to become a bit overbearing, overstuffed and overwhelming, and not in the good way for one to actually sustain that information. There is just so much thrown at you and so little that is not being given to the development of Batman and Superman, that along the way, you accept the fact that this movie is really just Justice League, the prequel. That really is just one of the biggest reasons this movie didn't succeed, is because it spent way too much time building the DC Cinematic Universe. We had many of those moments in this movie that just felt forced and sloppy and lazy, that didn't need to be in here and could have easily have been put on a DVD extra or deleted scene or post-ending credit scene or a mid-credit scene. There are so many different ways they could have done this, and it really felt like they didn't even bother to make it clever or make it at least fit in with what the movie was giving you. Another example of this would be Wonder Woman. Although her character is one of the bright spots of this movie, you can really argue she had no purpose in this film to begin with. This movie is not Batman v Superman. It's Batman and Superman. This movie fails to get you emotionally invested in these two characters. I've even been told by insiders of are experts of who Batman and Superman are as characters, that they even got their motivations wrong. They even got their characters wrong. That they were distracting the audience with all of these questions that make you feel like you were watching Batman and Superman. And half the movie is spent building Justice League, and half the movie is spent distracting you from their actual characters, that by the time you get to the fight sequence, it's rushed, it's lazy again, and you somehow feel a lack of investment in that. And that's the matchup that everyone wanted to see leading up to this movie, is Batman and Superman. Although I'm not going to tell you who wins, I'm just going to tell you it's rather irrelevant when it comes to the actual plot of the movie. It's not Batman v Superman, it's Batman and Superman. And there were a whole range of other things that made this movie feel overly artificial, not personal at all, needless characters, coincidences to the plot that really downgrade this movie to be downright stupid on certain levels. But I will say that I walked away not feeling regretful that I saw this movie. This is a movie that I recommend to everyone because I feel that I'm only one of a few voices here. I'm looking online and there are people who love the movie, and if you did, good. I'm glad, because if you love this movie or you've even liked the movie, it means that this movie was somehow successful to variances of different people. And that's okay. We need more movies like this that really divide the lines between critics and audience members. So please, just take everything that I always say with a grain of salt. I'm just giving you my voice and my opinion as to how I felt this movie affected me versus what I thought it should have been. And for me, it was a disappointment. For me, it was very underwhelming, and I really wanted it to have been a success. Again, saying that fully aware that a Marvel poster is behind me, but I'm being honest with you, this should have been better. But I'm not a DC comic book fanboy, so if you're out there and if you are that, and if you like this movie, good. I take nothing away from that. And try to respect everyone's opinion. That's kind of what we're aiming for, please. If the majority of the people don't like the movie, okay. But if you like it, good. Be happy with that. Don't try to start a war or go on some kind of troll fight. That's not what people should be about, especially when talking about something as movies. Movies mean a lot to people, and if you like something, defend it, but don't go out of your way to make everybody else feel as if their opinion is not valid, because everyone's opinion is valid, and that is always important to remember, especially when we come to movies like these. Well, that was a bit heated, but no, I really mean everything I just said. And I really mean that this movie is absolutely worth your time. I didn't like it, but I walked away with a lot of things to enjoy. And I'm sure you will as well. So go out and see Batman v Superman, which is one of the movie events of this year. Good or bad, whether you like it or not, it's worth your time. I assure you of that. You will walk away with a lot of things on your mind. Until next time, thank you for watching another movie review on the BNC. I'm your host here as always, Alexis. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and more reviews. We have a special preview edition of Batman v Superman that Peter and I gave as to what we thought the movie was going to be, as well as a spoiler edition afterwards, where we go into, of course, the spoilers with our good friends Kyle Lira and Alexis Moreno from Red Spotlight Entertainment, which you can also catch an in-depth podcast with the four of us going on for hours and hours about every single aspect of this movie. So we have plenty of contact for you. And if you're even asking for more, there's an After Dark special on Red Spotlight where we gave an hour-long review of our initial reactions, barely walking out of the theater. So there's a lot of stuff for you to munch on, as much as we did. So thank you very much for watching. This is the Barely News, the place for all things movie news and reviews.
Make you weep, weep, 'cause you could relate to them. Struggle to fall, struggle to fall, struggle to fall. Nothing at all.